Hey, Motorman here. If you're not familiar with this channel, you just wandered here by accident. I'm a motor officer instructor. I'm the guy that makes the Ride Like a Pro video, the biggest selling motorcycle instructional video in the entire world. And on this channel, we talk about tips, tricks, and techniques that motor officers use and that I teach in my classes. And by the way, I have 22 schools around the country. If you go to ridelikeapro.com and check out training locations, you'll see where they all are. Or my class right here in Florida, for be classes with Motorman. And today we're going to talk about 6 of the most common myths that I've been hearing lately from so-called experienced riders. These are people that like to give advice to newer riders or people that have been riding for a limited amount of time, and they're almost always completely wrong. So that's what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to be taking one of my 2 revivals on a little ride while we talk. And I say one of my 2 revivals because it seems like in the comment section, the fact that I have 2 of these bikes pisses off some people. So I'd like to rub it in just a little bit. So come on, let's go for a ride. Okay, the top 6 myths about riding motorcycles, usually said by people who claim to have lots and lots of experience. And by the way, those people who claim to have lots of experience, what they usually have experience at, and I've said this before, is cruising straight on down the road, rounding great big wide bends once in a while, and coming to a nice easy stop. What they don't have experience at is leaning, turning, swerving, and knowing which brake to use and when to use it, and when to use both brakes. But anyway, these people love to give advice to especially newer riders. And I would say about 95% of what they tell you is completely wrong. I have no stats to prove that. It's just things that I've heard through the years. Now here's number 1. I'm going to go through about 6 of them, but I'm sure there's plenty more, and maybe I'll get to them on another ride. But I still hear this one, and it's amazing to me that anybody with any real experience riding a motorcycle would even say this, but they still do. So number 1 myth is never use the front brake, it'll put you over the handlebars. That is so stupid. First of all, on a cruiser type motorcycle, I don't care how hard you hit that front brake, it will not lift the rear because of the longer wheelbase and the longer rake. In addition, the front brake on modern motorcycles has about 90% of your stopping force. You apply the front brake, front end comes down, lots of traction, lots of weight on that front tire. The rear brake has really less than a third of the braking force that the front brake has. Now, what you should be doing is whenever you come to a stop, use both brakes. Even if it's a nice, easy stop, get in the habit of using both your brakes. Now, if you have a sport bike, it's true, if you apply too much front brake, you could lift the rear wheel. You've seen people doing, they call stoppies, but that's not going to happen on cruisers. In addition, if you're braking properly, even with a sport bike, you won't be putting that much force on the front brake to lift the rear tire. A lot of the modern sport bikes with ABS and cornering ABS, etc., will prevent that actually from happening, lifting that rear wheel off the ground, because they know if you do that, most people will be out of control and they're going to crash. So remember, use both brakes. Even when you come into a nice easy stop, just before the motorcycle's wheels stop moving, you want to release the rear brake and begin putting your feet to the ground so that the final stop is going to be with your front brake. But you're at this point, you're only going about 2 miles an hour, so there'd be no reason to snatch or squeeze that front brake. And don't look down. If you look down, you're going to have a very unsteady stop. Myth number 2, and this is a big one. I hear this all the time by so-called experienced riders. Somebody pulls out in front of you, you can't stop quick enough, lay the bike down. That is one of the dumbest statements I've ever heard. First of all, if somebody pulls out in front of you and you can't stop, slamming on the rear brake will put the motorcycle down, you'll low side, but I guarantee you the bike will stop much faster or much sooner with the bike up on 2 wheels using both brakes. The only way I know of to lay the bike down is to overbrake your rear brake and underbrake your front brake. By doing that, you'll lock the tire and the motorcycle will eventually slide onto the ground, and then you've got the metal against the pavement, and that doesn't create near as much friction as the rubber tire on the pavement. Anybody who says that, and I've heard a lot of people say this, yeah, car pulled out in front of me so I had to lay her down. What it really means is I had no clue how to stop quickly, so I jammed on the rear brake and slid on my ass, crashing to avoid a crash. Don't do that. You don't want to crash to avoid a crash. Even if you can't stop, if you've used both brakes and perform maximum braking and you strike a vehicle, you're going to be going much slower by the time you get to that vehicle. It's better to hit it at 2 or 3 miles an hour than to go sliding on the ground at 20 miles an hour or higher. So anybody who says they had to lay her down, what they really mean is I wasn't looking far enough ahead, I didn't recognize the possible threat, and the car pulled out in front of me. The only thing I could do was jam on the rear brake, and I jammed on the rear brake because I'm used to jamming on the brake in the car. Now the car, it doesn't matter, you jam on the brake, it's going to apply both brakes. In a motorcycle it does matter, unless of course you have linked brakes. And here's another myth. We're going to talk about link brakes. People think that if you have link brakes, in other words, when you press on the rear brake, it gives you some front brake. If you press on the front brake, it gives you some rear brake. They think that you can't use the 3 techniques I teach, which are head and eyes, friction zone, a little pressure on the rear brake to help you steady the motorcycle. Of course you can. This motorcycle has linked brakes. It used to be on Harley Davidsons when they first came out with the linked brakes. They were only linked at 20 or 25 miles per hour and above, but now they're linked at all times, and I still have no problem whatsoever using the rear brake to help steady the motorcycle when making tight low-speed turns. So that myth is gone. In fact, Goldwings have had link brakes, I think, since around the late 80s, and if you go on the internet and you watch any of the Top Gun competitions with, that's what they call them, with the Goldwings, they're all using the rear brake. They all have link brakes, so it works just fine. That's because when you're using that rear brake to help you at low speeds, you're using very light pressure. If you really stomp down hard on that rear brake, yes, it's going to affect the front. And you don't want to use the front brake when the handlebars are turned at low speeds because it'll pull you to the ground like a magnet. But just using light pressure is just a little helper. It's not going to affect the front at all, at least not noticeably. You can see that in any police motor officer competition or any of my videos where you see my wife riding and demonstrating the exercises. She's using a little bit of rear brake. Now when you get really good with the clutch and throttle and you're practicing, you could actually eliminate using the rear brake. I always say keep your foot poised over it so it's there if you happen to need it. But anybody who's really good with that friction zone, all the exercises you'll see in my classes and in my video, you should be able to get through all those exercises with no rear brake. In fact, police motor officer training now, after the first or second day, they make sure that you do not use the rear brake for a helper. It's strictly clutch and throttle. That takes a lot of practice, but I've seen it in my class where in a couple of hours, a lot of riders that come through that have practiced prior to getting there, I tell them, okay, no more rear brake for you. And they go through the course just fine. If you can go through 18-foot turns on a motor officer course with no brake, you can certainly do 24-foot turns. At my class, that's what most of the turns are based on, 24-foot, a little bit less, sometimes 20 feet. So linked brakes have no effect on the techniques I talk about and that I teach. And your goal should be to get to where you're so good with that clutch and throttle that you don't even need the rear brake to help you. And here's another myth. I hear this a lot, usually said by people who tend to duck walk their bikes anytime you drop below 20 miles an hour, they claim that if you use the friction zone, you're going to burn out the clutch. The vast majority of motorcycles are equipped with wet clutches. What that means is it's lubricated by oil. In the old days, and on some motorcycles, even today, Moto Guzzi and some BMWs, they have a dry clutch like you'd find in a car. Doesn't mean you can't use the rear brake or the friction zone to help you. It just means you got to give the bike a little more cool time. So no, you're not going to burn out your clutch. How you burn out your clutch is by revving the crap out of the motor. That's 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs while in the friction zone. All you need is about 1,500 RPMs for most motorcycles. And after every 10 or 15 minutes of practicing, cruise around the practice area with the clutch all the way out, no rear brake, and let the motor cool down, and that clutch will last you just as long as if you never used the friction zone. Also keep in mind, if you're a duck walker and you got to make a U-turn, you're going to duck walk your bike through that U-turn, you still got to use the friction zone. You can't let the clutch out all the way or you'll be zooming over the curb and into the grass or whatever it is on the opposite side where you're trying to make that turn. And if you're duck walking it and using the friction zone, you're going to spend a lot more time in the friction zone than if you simply used it. As I suggest, friction zone, little pressure on the rear brake, turn your head and eyes, and the bike will come around. It maybe takes 2 seconds. So in those situations, when turning at low speeds, you're really only using that friction zone for just an extremely short amount of time. A couple of seconds is all. And another myth I've heard lately is never buy a motorcycle that you can't flat foot. Well, I would say that's true only if you have no clue how to really ride the motorcycle. If you've got no technique and you're relying on your instincts, which are always wrong, yeah, don't buy a bike that you can't flat foot because you're going to be duck walking it an awful lot. If you know the proper techniques, the 3 techniques I teach, which by the way, I go over in great detail on my new video, the Ride Like a Pro Experience, just 20 bucks, best 20 bucks you will ever spend on your motorcycle. Available at ridelikeapro.com. If you know those techniques, you do not need both feet on the ground. The bike weighs nothing when it's straight up. You can stomp on 1 foot, hold the bike straight up with that 1 foot very easily because there's no strength or weight involved. The only time weight comes into play is if you let the bike start to lean while you're stopped. Yep, when it gets past a certain point, then it's probably going to tip over. But if you really know how to ride, and everybody who rides a motorcycle should know these techniques there, they will save your life and make riding so much more enjoyable. And here's last but not least myth, and I see this a lot in the comment section, always said by people who haven't the slightest idea how to ride a motorcycle. And that is, at low speeds, they say, rev the motor really high because it creates a gyroscopic effect which keeps the motorcycle from falling over. That is absolute nonsense. The only gyroscopic effect you get on a motorcycle is when you get above about 5 miles per hour, there'll be more force pulling you forward than gravity pulling you down. Revving the motor while in the friction zone in an attempt to keep the motorcycle up will simply burn your clutch out. So I hope I've dispelled some of these myths, and I know that there's going to be comments below telling me how wrong I am. I've been doing this for a lot of years. I pretty much know what I'm talking about, but there will be people who disagree with me, and that's fine. Yep, go ahead, post away. If it's a caustic comment, expect a caustic reply. So don't forget to subscribe, folks. If you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. And take a look at ridelikeapro.com. You can see all the videos I have. The newest one is the new Ride Like a Pro Experience video. A lot of people are writing in saying it's the best video I've ever done, and I believe it is. And they are available in DVD and download. Make sure if you want to download it's by the download video. If you want the DVD, make sure you click on the DVD. People are getting that confused, even though it's pretty big print on there saying which is which. Till next time, this is Motorman signing out.